Hello, everybody. Yo, hey, guys, how's it going? Um, oh, this is really awkward. I'll just go ahead and start with the intro. Hey, guys, how's it going? My name is Justin, and you're watching and or listening to episode 456 of DangIT Prodcast. Welcome back, everybody. It's been, well, actually, hold on. I was gonna say, well, we don't have anyone else on call at the moment, so I can go ahead and just take the headphones off for a bit. I've always had an issue talking with headphones on, because I guess I'm so used to hearing my voice just like reverb or bounce back or just hear it remotely from my ears. So it whenever it sounds muffled, I'm like, wait, is that clear? But it is, of course, because of the whole mic situation. But yeah, so we're here. Got a couple things I wanted to talk about this past week. I think I've kind of talked about it in just chatting literally yesterday, but we can go ahead and do a quick review on this. I'm gonna just start with the general thing, the title of this. I'm starting to feel a little bit overwhelmed with content in general. In general, we're talking about content creation. We're talking about gaming content as well, because now it's not just, I mean, it's been like this for a while, but it's not just, standard video games, new releases and whatnot, but it's also expansions for games I've been wanting to play as well. So it's a lot. I'll go ahead and start with Tanuki. But I guess also DangIT Prodcast as well. Or not DangIT Prodcast itself, but hey, do you want 10k? Nah, I'm alright. So anyway, so I made some stuff going, sorry that totally took my attention away, but I guess with DangIT Productions, that's kind of part of it, but I was definitely focusing on Tanuki. As you guys know, we have a collaborative channel called Tanuki Media, at Tanuki Media Official, which I think I still need to verify if that's the actual tagline, but we are currently, I mean, we've been making stuff since the very beginning of April, so we're almost at a full month of stuff. So it's kind of incredible that we're about to approach the last, whatchamacallit it. Also, thank you for the follow. I see that. Thank you. Oh, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Oh, okay, yeah. So it's at Tanuki Media Official, but it's Tanuki Media on YouTube. We currently have, as I can see, 6 videos out right now. The first one being, well, no, sorry, 7 videos technically. We have the Avid Souls Adventures stuff going on. We have the Kingdom Hearts podcast. We're going to be doing some recordings on that one. Did I say it was Re-Talking Hearts? Yeah, well, it is Re-Talking Hearts, the podcast, but it's a podcast about Kingdom Hearts and the whole situation. But I've talked about it before. We're pretty much playing through every single Kingdom Hearts all independently of each other, and then we're gonna come back together and do a full reflections on each of the games, and have these other side projects or episodes. And hopefully by the time that we wrap up on all that kind of stuff, we'll actually have some news about any new actual Kingdom Hearts games, whether it be, I guess, the mobile game or Kingdom Hearts 4. So there's that. And of course there's also what I'm putting out there, and that is reviews and just general videos on video game accessories and whatnot. Still trying to refine exactly what I want to do. And I think I'm doing pretty well with that. And yes, thank you, Wanza. So I'm kind of struggling a little bit, because I mean it's a new channel, so I don't know. It's been a while, and I need to really review the algorithms going on with that kind of stuff. But I made a video on the Logitech G Cloud. I made a video on just the up and coming stuff about the ROG Ally, which is a handheld, it's a handheld PC that's supposed to do even better than the Steam Deck. So I'm just bringing up the hype for that one, and it's been doing pretty well for the channel. And then I talked about eShop deals out of I guess out of left field for a lot of folks. And then I talked about Nintendo Switch accessories, and those aren't doing as well as I would like. So I'm trying to like refine exactly like, okay, I would really want to really pin down exactly what kind of content I'm putting out there for Tanuki over there. And I think I still want to like maintain a lot of that kind of stuff, but I don't want it to be just like within the PC gaming space, because that's, oddly enough, that's kind of like the least I have experience in, not just like on like a fundamental educational level of like the different components going into a PC, but also just like looking into like performance stuff and everything like that. I'm the type of guy who would like literally just stick with the consoles. So I've been kind of transitioning into that. But each week it's about brainstorming what type of bit of content I want to like put out there for that channel. And then of course there's also like the DangIT Productions channel, the DangIT Pro channel, which was like established way back in 2012. That's the ongoing one. That's where all these podcasts get exported to. It's where we talk about the My Hero Academia manga chapter reads. Some fair bit of like let's plays get put out there. Not as much though, and it's about the timing on all of that too. So I don't know. I guess this is me kind of like venting out there in the sense that like it's a lot that I'm realizing that I have to do. I think if I didn't have like the day job, I think it would be just fine. But because I have that, it's kind of difficult. Granted, though, I can't. I have to be grateful for what I have. It's just that it's to do all these types of things, like just like add more to the catalog of things, not just here, but also like as far as content creation, but also like playing all these different games I want to play. It's certainly a lot. So if I can go through like a quick list, I gotta make a video for Tanuki for the week. Continue like editing some like let's plays here and there for like DangIT Productions per se. Whatchamacalls it? Oh god, there was another one. Oh yeah, just like pretty much the gaming backlog for sure. Like one of the games I'm like currently playing through is Atelier Ryza 3, and that came out like about a month ago. Yeah, yeah, it was about a month. It came out in like March, and I'm liking it so far, but I have not been able to touch it because I'm currently doing something for Tanuki as well, which is like playing through the Kingdom Hearts games before like we start recording for like our kind of like overall like review of Kingdom Hearts Uno 1 Final Mix. And we actually got an extension on our due date for like when we're doing the recording, and that's gonna be at the end of the month instead of tomorrow. So I have an extra week to work on that, so that's great. But I'm currently I just cleared Agrabah. I'm not sure if anyone has a point of reference for that, but I think that's getting closer to like the middle of the game as far as like the world progression there. So doing not so bad like approaches there. I mean, you know, the only way I'm able to go through a lot of that is just simply just recording it. Whatchamacalls it? I should also double check. I was gonna say like I should probably have Discord like open for a little bit. Yeah, just in case. Because I don't know when Mark's gonna show up. Possibly. And then there, and guys, I could talk at length about like my whole like catalog backlist. Like I have it in a spreadsheet. But yeah, it's also there as well. So that's, I guess ultimately that's kind of what I wanted to bring up, is the fact that like, there's just a lot going on, and it's also great for gamers as well, because you know one of the things that's showing up is not just like full-fledged full-fledged games being released, but also just expansions showing up here and there. This past week, for those who play Horizon Zero Dawn on, I guess, PlayStation 5 specifically, y'all have access to Burning Shores. And I'm gonna be real honest. There's been some reviews here and there, a bit of review bombing here and there. You kind of expect that too, but I don't really know too much about like the story going on there. It's just been revealed about like the only thing I really know about is just Aloy's like sexuality being revealed over there, and that's it. And a few little touches here and there as far as like how short I guess the actual like content is. But yeah, there's also Xenoblade Chronicles 3's DLC. They have a whole season pass, and like Wave 4 is essentially what was it Torna, like the Golden Country was, and that's kind of like its own like expansive type of like game within itself, and that's coming out on the 25th, so like a couple days from now, and it's pretty much touching up on some characters that people might be familiar with Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and 2, and that's super dope. I'm still stuck in Chronicles 1 because oh my god, first of all, I just talked about Kingdom Hearts being like a priority at this point, but also it's just side quest city over there. Those games are expansive. You can like skip through a lot of that stuff, but if you ever stream that like online, then people are gonna tell you to go finish that, and that's what ultimately ended up for me, because I was gonna really just bum rush through like a lot of it, but people convinced me to go through some of the side quest story stuff, and it's just never ending. I'm at that point in Chronicles 1 where I believe we're away from Melia. Melia is doing her like high Entia thing with with everybody else. She's doing her her royalty like duties, and we're just off like helping everybody else like at that capital, and that's kind of just where I've been. Granted, I feel like that's a fair portion like into the game, and I think the levels show for it, but it's a I'm gonna have to touch up on Chronicles 2. I need to touch up on Torna. I just talked about that, and then I have to actually play through like 3. And that's insane. And you know what else that just came out, like an actual full-fledged game? 2 technically, and that's Advance Wars 1 and 2. Reboot Camp actually finally came out, and it's been a big delay, and the original team behind like Advance Wars are the people behind Fire Emblem, so you see a lot of the familiar mechanics. I love Fire Emblem, so it's one of those things where it's like I gotta get it. One, because I never got to play the Game Boy Advance version at the time, but also because as a Fire Emblem fanatic, I also have to touch up on that one too. But yeah, that's kind of what we got going on as far as like the slew of games there. So it's a lot. It still fits within the title. There's just a lot to go through, and considering the fact that we're going to jump into like May very soon, that means Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is about to come out, and that's a priority game on my list as well. I think what I'd like to do with that one, it would probably be in the form of a let's play. I'm not sure about a stream, because I've also been conscious about like what gets streamed over here on the Twitch channel, aside from like the podcast and what we're doing right now, which is I guess more plugs for the channel. We're playing through Pokemon Yellow, it actually on the 3DS hardware, which I guess it's fine. It's fine. Sorry for the stutter, but there's definitely a much more cleaner way to play it. But the whole reason I'm streaming it like as something I'm playing on the 3DS specifically was to promote the people to buy that copy of it like on the eShop before it goes away forever. That's already been done now, but I'm just kind of continuing to go through it, because eventually what I want to do is transfer all those mons, not all of them, but transfer a fair number of them all the way over to Pokemon like Home, so I can use them later, and also just as a nice like thing of memorabilia for me personally. And I'll just go through the other games as well within the retro line. But honestly, I probably would have went with like the Game Boy player on GameCube as my next thing. I know there's another I forget what it's called, but it's kind of like a Game Boy Advance like loader, where you put your cartridge into the thing that plugs into your computer, and it works to like create like kind of like save backup copies that otherwise would get erased after like a long save battery has been done in after a good number of years. But it's also a way for you to also play on your PC as well, so you have like better control over like the I guess the resolution on that, and just the overall like quality of it. So something you probably could stream on that as well. Something to consider as well. But I think those are really hard to come by. So I'm just kind of glad that I have what I have as far as options. Let's talk about other like updates going on like over here as well in the physical space. Things you don't really see. I got not this mic. Um guys, I guess it starts with a little bit of a bit of context. I have definitely sold myself into the whole realm of like Elgato's like products. The only thing that doesn't really like fit my need are not these guys, but the clamps themselves. See how I just like pulled this one out like out of nowhere? It's because I've been using this like for another means to talk about later, but this is such a minor thing, but I have to like talk about it. But these clamps are pretty robust, and in fact, like a lot of desk clamps are really nice. The issue that you always will end up having, especially for someone like me who has very weird desks, is the fact that this guy can only like go like within like or under 3 inches like of desk like thickness here, and all of my stuff is a little over 3 inches, so that sucks. But this past week I was able to get myself something that was like kind of a flash sale on Amazon, and was able to actually fully clamp something here, and that's what this light's over here is for. So previously we had a light pointing like forward, from where I'm pointing right now, and that was working for a fair bit. The only issue was the whole green screen situation going on, where like whenever I want to make like a cool like custom thumbnail, I have like that Elgato like green screen to pull up. But the problem is because of the positioning of the lighting, causing some shadows here and there, so it makes it kind of hard to like crop or like get a really clean like image in the background without any type of like weird artifacting stuff. And now that's not a problem. And addition to that, we also got this whole cool like multi-arm like situation going on, so like that those top-down angles like for looking at like cool products and whatnot can be better, displayed. So the only thing I'm missing is just how to cover up any type of like reflections getting cast off of like these type of surfaces. That's the only thing I need to like really be concerned about. But those are some nice little updates and upgrades that I got over here for the space. The next thing I'm thinking about like upgrading is probably like like a separate light for like the floor, because the green screen like doesn't, well, I'll still cast a shadow, so I'm thinking about having another light for like the bottom to light up the green screen from the back or from behind me. Like, actually, hard to kind of explain that, but without actually like demonstrating it. But I think we got something down, and I'm looking forward to seeing the results, because I've been really utilizing that green screen for whatchamacallit, any type of photo shoots I need, where I need to like crop myself into, or I need to like I need to PMG myself into an image to create a new thumbnail, because I've been really going in ham on that kind of stuff. And I think my best work for green screen thumbnails has really been that ROG one. And I did a little bit of that with the Switch accessories like video, but that ROG one, it's very nice. It's very nice. That's a very like that's my eye-catching thumbnail art that I'm gonna continue to work with. But there's definitely room for improvement, so I'm looking forward to like doing more of that kind of stuff. I think that's all I really want to say as far as like all the additional camera equipment stuff. I did think I was considering trying to get a whole other camera for like the top-down shots, because otherwise, where is it? Otherwise, it's my phone, and the phone's pretty decent as far as just getting the images what you want. Well, I mean, granted, I think it's a 13 Pro, so image quality, if I look down, is pretty clean as it is. The only problem is that I end up using like a digital zoom, and I don't think that's really good as far as like getting like the cleanest image for like those top-down shots. But it definitely works for what it needs to do. So I've been just kind of like working with that for a little bit, seeing if that's all I want to do, or if I want to better or get better quality with a different camera. And there's another camera that I had in mind when it comes to all that kind of stuff. And that was one of the I think they're called the ZV series from Sony. For those of you who don't know, this is the camera that we're using right now is the Sony A6600, which is one of the, I'm not sure if it's one of the first, but it was definitely one of those like Sony line of like mirrorless cameras that came out. Like alongside it was like the 6400, the 6500, and then of course the 6600. There's some older models behind that, but as far as the image quality, I've been really impressed with it, and honestly happy that we got it. But it's one of those things where like I've been looking to seeing if I could have another like B-roll type of camera that isn't like the iPhone, because iPhone has this like really bothersome thing where it autofocuses like all the time, and there's a way to manually you can change it, but sometimes it can be difficult to like not get the how do I say this? Because just like how the Sony has its own type of like image profile, if you will, so does like Apple. So does like iPhone stuff. Like there's like a specific, I guess, image profile you get out of it. And I don't know, like I think it's just about like the lighting, but also the focus. And that autofocus is pretty intense, but not as like helpful as what we have going on with this one. Anyway, that's something to consider, but ultimately not maybe act on until like further notice. Although having a really cool like B camera would be really nice. But I have over the years I've accrued like many other cameras, so I'm always looking to see how I can like ever use those. I was literally just taking out like all my stuff and rearranging it, and I remember I have all these actually I probably put it away. Had these all these different camcorders, dude. Camcorders, you know, I think we're kind of like going away from like camcorder stuff, which are like specifically just for videography. And we're just like focusing on like cameras that could do both, like images and video stuff, which I think the mirrorless cameras actually do a good job on doing both. But I still have those ones, and you know, if we ever need that for like dynamic angles for like any type of podcast we have like going forward, I'm totally down to use those for sure. I have all the well, aside from all the needed like capture card equipment, I probably am set to go when utilizing that kind of stuff. And that's pretty much that. There's some other things that we talk about here on the podcast, not just personal life stuff, but we also talk about manga and anime. But unfortunately, our specialist Mark is not here for that. Mark, where are you? You know what's the funny thing? He literally said that he would be here like in a minute, and I was like, I think that was at like 1:08. It's now like 2. And we started like about 30 minutes ago too. So yeah, it's been pretty busy with everybody. I think everyone's like just as busy. Anaya has definitely been like ridiculously busy given the fact that he's now going fully ham on content creation. So that's super cool. There's a lot of things that he has like cooking in the background that we don't know about. And Phil himself is pretty busy. And man, dude, I guess like when I reflect on that kind of stuff, like a lot of things have changed over the years. Like, I mean, whatchamacallit, I guess it has been, yeah, it has been it's been over a decade since like I established the YouTube channel, like DangIT Productions, and that's been the basis of everything. And over the course of that past decade, like a lot of things have changed. You wouldn't even expect it. You know those questions where people will ask you like, if you saw yourself, or at least what do you picture yourself in like 5 years or something like that? Because, you know, it's a short amount of time, but things can change for sure. And I'm now like legitimately looking at that kind of stuff and reflecting on like, man, dude, if I knew exactly where I'd be, I don't know how I'd feel about that, because I know that when I was starting off, I really had that mentality of like, all right, so by the end of college, right, I'm going to find myself like with very stable income through just YouTube, and we'll be good. it didn't quite happen like that. And to be fair, it still hasn't happened, but things things have an interesting way of like turning themselves around, or I guess there was a proper phrase for that. But anyway, it works out. I just currently feel like, upon like reflecting on things of this past week, it feels like a lot of stuff is on my plate, and not trying to like become the victim here, but it's definitely something where it's like, okay, there's certainly a lot of things like going on, and it's about trying to manage everything however you can see fit. One of the things I've tried to do and am currently doing right now, as far as like streamlining processes of as far as making content, is to be able to record stuff and then be able to post immediately without post editing stuff. And I think I got something down with like Let's Play stuff going forward. But as far as things like making specific Tanuki Media stuff, requires something a little extra out of me. And I do like that development process where it's like devising like some kind of script, some ideas and points to like follow up on, different shots that I might want to use as B-roll. It's a lot of interesting things I have not really needed to consider for a while, as you know, my perspective and interest in like content and genres like within like the digital space has like changed over time. Like I used to be like really big on like vlogs and everything like that, so much so I try to emulate that. And that's definitely like a serious burn for sure. That's definitely a grind that I can totally respect like daily vloggers to do. Although I don't think daily vloggers are like that more or they're not as prominent like these days. Moreover, I think you'll see them as like IRL streamers, and I think that's kind of where it goes. But there's also like Let's Plays and whatnot. But very topical stuff has been like my thing on YouTube, mainly because I don't really watch YouTube these days. But I do check out Pacific videos. I'm like kind of interested, whether it be like game trailers and whatnot. Reaction videos are still among those as well. So yeah, no, like a lot of that stuff has been changing, and to kind of go full circle on that, making stuff for Tanuki Media has been a very interesting process as far as like devising everything and making it very much more, I guess, better like produced type of like material that I have at the end of the day, versus like me pressing recording and recording post. Although that's also pretty rewarding and pleasing within itself. I think the my main focus on like Tanuki is, well, obviously it's the kind of like product and accessory reviews and everything like that. Just kind of I guess some like a balance of like evergreen content versus whatever the other type of content is, where it's like specifically things that people are really interested in, like in the now, but there's also like content that could like really last like a good while, as far as like your takes here and there on like certain products here and there. But there's also like something interesting about that as far as the timing on things. But I don't really have like that much insight as far as like exactly when should I post this or make that. But I'm also having fun at the end of the day, so I think it's all like well worth it at the end of it. But let me see. I did want to kind of talk about some stuff regarding like the other channel as well. But let me just see some general topics that people are interested in. Oh my god, how did I not talk about this one? Street Fighter 6 actually had a showcase, and I didn't really like, well, I guess I did fully watch it. I was just watching through Max's stream. But that's looking really cool. There's a demo available like on PlayStation 4 and 5, and it allows you to like just create your avatar, go through World Tour for a little bit. Looks like you can also like just do some practice rounds with CPUs and whatnot. It's single player folks. I don't think there's any type of like local, or there's no online nor like local like multiplayer stuff going on here. So you can't really fight with other folks, but you can play against the CPUs at the least. And That's super cool. I know I talked about like being super interested in Street Fighter 6, and I still am. I don't think I can play through it though, and that really sucks. And it's because of literally what we've been talking about. There's just a lot on my plate, and playing through a demo maybe offhand would be really cool, but it's not like I can really make content out of it, you know? And that's kind of been my main focus, like for the past like couple weeks to months. So that's what we got going on, like as far as Street Fighter stuff. I think the biggest thing was definitely revealing. Oh my god, the customization was crazy. Customization's like crazy funny, but as far as like new stuff, they announced like some like occurring characters. Beefling, how's it going? They have. Oh my god, some of you might be recognize some of these Street Fighter characters. Some are new, though. I think we had Rashid as like one of the first that will be appearing after the release date. So they're definitely spreading out the content here and there. Let me just go ahead and like get like a listing for them right here. I love the illustration that I decided to go with though. Let me see. Let me get a listing here. Rashid, AKI, Ed, and Akuma. When you eating? What are you eating for dinner? I'm gonna be real honest with you. I don't know. Beefling is one of those interesting cats who really like ask about like what you're eating. Can you show me pictures? But yeah. Oh, Beefling, you missed like all of our kind of talks. Like, granted, they're just really like catch ups on what I've been doing. But yeah, no. I think that's pretty much everything. I didn't have a lot. I'm gonna be real honest. I didn't have a lot like to bring up. Well, granted, though, I was able to talk for like 30 minutes though. Hey man, just asking. I know, it's just that's just a common thing. They like, you know how people are known for like this and that and this and that within within like a friend group. Like, well, you're definitely the food guy.
Food guy.
So, let me see. No, that's pretty much it.
Sorry,
I
I'm
think what I'm
late.
gonna do after this is I'm gonna really just look into whatchamacallit it. See if Advance Wars is anywhere available at a retailer, because I've been wanting to like at least pick that up for sure.
The physical version.
Considering the fact that like has the same roots as like Fire Emblem, so I'm like, oh, this looks immediately familiar. And I think the
Cousin!
whoa, what the yo.
I've been here for about 2 minutes.
You, oh, yeah, okay. So first of all, sorry, Mark.
Good.
I did not hear you until you yelled.
I said sorry, I'm late.
Oh, okay. But Mark, how's it going?
Going good. How's it going with you?
It's kind of overwhelming over here.
Is
Um,
it?
it's an okay amount of overwhelming in the sense that it's like it's kind of the title of the podcast. It's like overwhelming content. Period.
Oh,
There's a lot of things that, like I'm trying to put on my plate, but there's also like content as far as games as well. There's just a lot out there. Um, yeah, no, I was going to say like, huh, shoot, Mark, if you were here for like a couple minutes, it must have been because like you were probably jumped in on a call, and I just didn't, of course, had Discord like as a front like window opened, and I just had it minimized. So, and of course, I had my headphones off for a little bit, but I was I guess to kind of quickly go over, I was just talking about like things that as far as games releasing, like Horizon Zero Dawn's Burning Shores came out like this past week, which is unfortunate because it gets like lined up with like a bunch of other games happening around here, whether it be DLC or not. Advance Wars 1 and 2 finally came out. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 has its like fourth like DLC or wave 4, which is Future Redeem, which is kind of like the Torna, the Golden Country counterpart, where it's like it's just a whole expansive like portion of like its respective game. and that's coming out like within a couple days too. And Street Fighter 6 was the last thing to talk about. Looks super dope. I probably won't jump into that.
Really?
Yeah, there's like I said, there's a lot. There's a lot on my plate.
The backlog is ever growing.
The backlog and like, yeah, it's just like it's one of those things where like I think as someone who isn't like a fighting game person, I could like we've done like fight nights like back on Dang It, but I'm definitely more of like I'll play it like at the party type of person.
You're a party fighter.
The party fighter. So that's why Smash Brothers is like totally around my like up my alley, you know?
Smash perfect.
Yeah. It totally works, but like I'm not like as crazy hardcore as like Anaya or Phil is. And they're not like hardcore either. But yeah, I was gonna say though that at the very least Street Fighter 6 seems to be like a super cool gateway for those who are new to it to jump into it and learn a lot of like different mechanics that's already been established and some new things that have been established. So for sure. But and then I talked about just like overall equipment that I've gotten over the past week. Pretty much something where like I could finally clamp something to my desk that's actually like over 3 inches, because Elgato does not support that, but these some of these new products does. So I pretty much now have like much more balanced lighting over here, and I'm thinking about getting like another like light bar for whenever I do like green screen shots for like whatever shadows I could be casting. So some interesting stuff to look into, because I've been using that green screen for like a lot of the Tanuki thumbnails, and it's been really paying off as far as like the end product. So it's kind of what I've been working on, but I think my main focus right now is one, trying to finish up Kingdom Hearts before we actually do a recording for that one at the end of the month, and then just trying to pick up on stuff like over on Dang It as well. I know that we're still consistently like putting up like the podcast stuff. I'm still like putting out like Let's Plays as far as, well, I guess I'm finishing editing Let's Plays, but I'm not uploading them yet. Not until I get like a much more streamlined release timing for each of them. And then of course the manga reads, which are much more consistent too. But yeah, they just like show up on a weekly basis though. Speaking of which, I guess that's kind of the only thing I can really bring up as far as like the topics on or talks on like manga and anime right now, is the fact that we're currently keeping up with well, at least I am, but Mark, you also like keep up with other works as well, but like My Hero, I know that like there was a spoiler that like came around, and unfortunately I kinda saw it. I can probably
Sag.
Yikes, that was fucking loud, dude. Stop it.
Was it loud? I didn't realize.
That was like very loud.
Sag.
Oh god, dude. Stop. You're gonna have to make me like put down your volume meter here.
Like the dude was recital. Sex.
Alright, so I'm gonna just have that a constant monitor for now. But
No Takeshi.
do you have the mic up to your mouth? Is that what's going on?
I mean, it's boop, boop, boop. It's not next to my mouth, but it's around my mouth.
It's a lot better placement than last time though. When I was like reviewing the manga read from last week, like it was super quiet. I was like, that's super weird. But if it's one of those things where like it's not like really built to be like at a fixed point and it will just kind of like droop a little bit, then that's fair. But it sounds very clean now, so that's good. But oh sorry, the My Hero spoiler thing. I won't really say what it is, but I was like, this is through TikTok really, where I was just scrolling through, and TikTok's now been like showing like, well, at least a lot of people are like posting stuff where like it's like fixed images like of manga stuff, I didn't see that, but they usually will couple it with like some kind of audio or other like video feed to keep people's attention. And it just played Iron Man in the back, and I saw that it was like one of Tony's suit up scenes. I was like, oh, and I just like kept scrolling from that point. I was like, so I didn't really see it, so that's good. But by association, I kind of figured like what's going on, which is unfortunate way of like learning about that. But I also, my God, it's kind of broken about like how people will post spoilers. Some people are really good where they'll just like put like a tag on that, and one of my selected words will just mute that out on my feed so I don't ever see it. But there's a few folks here out there who don't really like put any kind of tagline on it, and instead they'll just post something like obligatory where it's like they'll just post like say like do All Might's going all in or something like that, and they just post the image of like that one panel, and I was like, swipe. I was like, how? And I have to check like, oh right, because of course I wouldn't like mute All Might as a word. But yeah, no, that's the only thing I have going on. I know there's a bunch of like anime out there as far as like the season, and I'm currently kind of stuck in this like how do we call this? I guess I'm kind of stuck in a limbo where it's like similar to like me wanting to like do the reactions for My Heroes anime, but I never really got around to it, therefore I just stopped. I have an overlay in mind, but I'm just trying to like finesse it to something that I really like as presentation, and then I can go forward with like doing like watching / reacting to stuff. So that's kind of like where I'm at, which is why I haven't really been keeping up at all with like the seasons, really, except for ones I know that I wouldn't really watch or react to anyway. But I'm kind of just stuck. That's that's legitimately the only feedback I can give on anime so far this past season. I get what you mean though, and I think there's some really good insight as far as like keeping up to date with seasonal stuff and then posting about it is a way to like really bring in a community, and I always liked that aspect of it when it came to like watching like new anime, new episodes, and just seeing how people like will respond to it. But yeah, sorry, just checking out like what I was like sending in the group messenger. But yeah, Mark, has there been any games that you've been keeping up with? If you can respond, because I do see you're muted.
So sorry, I had a phone call.
Oh, that's fine. We're all busy these days. Oh yeah, but was there any other games that you've been keeping up with?
Uh, Not recently. There's been like at least not a lot of new stuff coming out recently, because it's like, I mean, mostly we've talked about all the new stuff that's been coming out recently.
Ah, okay.
I've mostly just been finally do the DLC for Kakarot. That's been good. For the Bardock DLC, that's been great. Leveling up characters on that, it's been fun.
Okay.
Been doing that, and yeah, that's in terms of games, just that, and like a little bit of Smite here and there.
Ah, okay, I see. Man, it ends. It's all ropes around to like Kingdom Hearts again. But I was like, it'd be really cool if I can go back into Jedi Fallen Order, whether it be like play it normally or play it on hard difficulty, but just kind of go through that real quick on YouTube, and then in time for like Jedi Survivor, which is coming out next week.
Gonna say you don't have a lot of time.
I don't have a lot of time, so I might have to scrap that idea. But super cool. I'm looking forward to that one.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be very good.
And then of course, like I'm preparing for next month as well because of Tears in the Kingdom, which will be coming out in a few weeks. That's that's gonna be something for sure. It's gonna be a whole experience. But
Sephi screaming in the background.
oh, she's so hyped for that. I'm so happy for her. Like, obviously I'm excited for it, but like she's on like another level.
Oh yeah, she is.
She's like, yeah, like I guess as far as I mean, obviously like a fair number of us can say like we're fans of the Zelda series, but like Sephi's the one who's been replaying Breath of the Wild like almost every year.
Every single year.
It's like, yo, I wish I had that type of relationship with the game where like I'll just revisit it like every year. Some people do that, and yeah, just like I guess I'm just kind of like too busy to do that. But otherwise, Breath of the Wild would probably be up there too. Because honestly, that first time experience, I always and I'm gonna keep on praising it for it. But like I think with Breath of the Wild, that was like the first time, and it's because of the fact that it's like that open world game
Hmm.
where you will you play it and like that sense of discovery is so overwhelmingly like satisfying to go through that you'll find like it really difficult to like stop. You'll just keep exploring. And honestly, if you don't really have like a destination in mind, you're just gonna wander elsewhere and you're just gonna have the time of your life doing it. And
Basically.
I'm not expecting Tears of the Kingdom to have like that initial like feeling because I already have that feeling like already like through Breath of the Wild and also familiarity with like the map. Although some things have changed, but um, I'm just curious and just looking forward to those moments where you're just kind of, I guess you are just kind of like quietly just exploring, and you're just like letting your curiosity like take course. So I'm looking forward to that. And that's kind of different from like all the other games I'm like anticipating, whether it be Final Fantasy like 16, where I guess there's a level of open world exploration, but it's definitely one of those things where it's like the combat. Oh,
Ooh.
and then yeah, and that's kind of like how I feel about Jedi Survivor because I really liked like I guess the adaptation of like Souls like gameplay to that one.
Yeah, Star Wars, it worked very well.
It was really interesting when I jumped in like to Fallen Order and jumped into that like that first world, and like it's definitely like kind of a linear path until you like get to like one of those like I don't know what the exact terminology is, but like as you're trying to make your way like leaving from the ship and like getting to your next destination, like there's not a lot to like walk around on, but to know I guess the vibe is that like each encounter that you have is something where like you lose a lot of health or you can like go there unscathed, and like it's always like a risk factor. And that's something I don't really ever get with other games where it's like, okay, if I engage like with this, there's a lot of risk involved as far as like me like losing like an extra like bit of health to or like whatever like revitalizing like items. And that's something that only Souls like games like have for me. And because otherwise things like Breath of the Wild, it's like, oh, you know, I'll just do something goofy and I'll win. But yeah, no, I'm really like, although I guess I can't say I'm like a huge fan of like the Souls like games, but it's definitely like up there as far as like things that I'm totally digging for sure. But yeah, that's kind of what I wanted to say about Jedi Survivor. That's also something I was looking forward to, as well as Tears of the Kingdom and 16 as well. But let me see. Was there anything else? Mark, is there any manga slash anime updates that I may not have talked about?
Uh,
Which is a lot, actually.
Other than new episodes out of certain series, uh, other than new episodes out of certain series and new chapters of continuing series, no, I think you pretty much touched on everything you could touch on without like having to go into other territories.
Okay. All right then. I think we're. I mean, it's not really quite an hour, but I think we're good. Should we go and call?
You can if you want.
All righty then. I say we're good to call. Beefling, you're still in the chat. You were asking about Pokemon later. Sorry I didn't get back to you soon. But yeah, that's still going to be the thing later on tonight. But for now, we'll go ahead and call it here. Guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in for this episode of DangIT Podcast. It's been episode 456. My name is Justin.
Come on.
And thanks for watching, everybody. Hashtag bye, everybody.